Twisted Meadows, ladies and gentlemen, in another game, and today we have an Orc versus Undead. Down to the bottom of the map, tonbegali, my bad, playing as Orc, and, well, he is currently, I think, level 37, 38 on the European ladder, whereas on the top right, cross-positioned on Twisted, we're seeing a MadFrog. The Frog being pretty angry these days, practicing a lot, training a lot, and getting pretty good games out, hitting rank 40, sorry, actually rank 30, but level 40 on the European ladder, as I said. Check him out on Twitch if you want to follow some of those games directly on twitch.tv/MadQFrog. And we have him in purple, starting things up with a crypt. So again, no graveyard just now. We're going to see if he's going to play some kind of fiend style. As we've said in the past, he's one of the players that actually does a lot with ghouls and gargs. Also against Orc sometimes, which is quite surprising because, well, Orcs still have those pesky Bat Riders, and those usually don't do really all... yeah, Gargoyles don't do all that well against Bat Riders, as you can imagine. Comes down to the armor at the end. Like, back in the days, you would still occasionally try and play that style, and then normally the idea was to get armor upgrades as quickly as you possibly can for your Gargoyles, and whenever the Bat Riders detonate in an ideal world, you would try to get a Scroll of Protection through as well, so that those Bat Riders don't really do a whole lot of damage, and as long as they don't get the kill, you can use Stone Form to keep your Gargoyles topped up in HP and play like that. Either way, we have Acolyte on the Scout route already, and with the Acolyte moving top left, we're having down to the bottom a mirrored Scout on the Peon side. So both of them are going to find their opponent's main base at the same time. And it looks like we're even seeing another Peon already pushed out. Interesting. Alright, okay. Forward shop. I was for a second thinking, like, what the hell is going on here? Are we going to see towers? Taker, is it you? But no. So he gets a forward shop. Serves a couple of purposes. Now, first of all, you can access your items a little bit quicker. It also is pretty neat if you're just getting some scouting information out. But a forward shop also has some downsides, and one of the biggest ones is that you will be in a position where your opponent might be able to snipe it quite easily, and then you can't really access items unless you have a second shop somewhere in your base. So it gives you vision. At the same time, it also allows you to yeah, get faster access to it. But it has a few downsides, obviously, too. Bit of creeping going on here, by the way, on the side of the Orc player, with the Blade Master first, obviously, is going to try and look for items, and he actually finds a Circlet of Nobility. Has already sold his town portal, and MadFrog is going to try and cancel the shop here, and that would be huge. If he can do that, that would be amazing before the Blast Master, the Blade Master gets his items. As it happens, it doesn't quite work out that way. MadFrog got close, but not close enough, and there's the healing selves, and the Lesser Clarity Potions right away for tonbegali. So, good job by him. MadFrog still seeing if he can maybe get some experience here or take down that shop. And that's exactly the problem right there. If you have that shop in your main base, all of a sudden you're able to at least defend a bit more effectively with the burrows. But now the shop is down. And that's exactly the big problem if you build a shop outside of your base. You get scouting information, you get easy access to it, but if your opponent takes it down, then all of a sudden you are out of items. In this case, the items are still there, but he now has to rebuild the shop in the main base to access them consistently. Death Knight still on level 1 on the other hand. I mean, obviously, but he doesn't have any experience. That's basically what I try to say here. We're having him tech into tier 2 in the main base, and we're now seeing also the graveyard added, but you can already see that there's a fair amount of ghouls already on the ground. So even if he goes into fiends, he will have a pretty decent ground army as well, and keeps continuing building ghouls too. So very heavily focused on ground units, the exact style that we expected from MadFrog. And he's been talking about this like a lot. People have asked him continuously why he doesn't copy the style of players that are currently doing extremely well as Undead. And basically his response every time was, if you only copy other people, you'll never be the best. He likes his own style, he wants to develop his own style, learn his own lessons, and that's currently what he's doing. But we have him going up against an opponent who's heavily pressuring that Death Knight now. Blade Master level 2, big crit coming through, and with the... Ooh, that could be a kill! Has the boots of speed, and there's the last hit by the Grunt. Death Knight already down. Fantastic start here for the Orc player. Really well done by him. And with that, MadFrog is now down one hero and can't really creep here either. Can't really do a whole lot out of that though. So he has to get the Death Knight back to business, and that is a fantastic start for the Orc player, who now of course is going to try and kill a couple of sheep on the map. No, he's going to try and creep. Like, the reason why I actually took down the sheep is pretty simple. If you're going up against an Undead player, one of the first things you want to do is whenever you see a critter on the map, kill it with fire! Because we all know that those corpses that the critters leave can be used by an Undead player to spawn a couple of skeletons with a Rod of Necromancy, so you want to take that option away from them. And it always helps them to get easy creep going. So, talking about creeping, Death Knight got the Gloves of Haste here. The ghouls still on the map, and ghouls still being produced by MadFrog. Has a few more in his base. But obviously, if you play a very ghoul-heavy style, you usually don't run into problems with wood either. Bit of an attempt at a surround, and I think at least one of these grunts should drop, but he doesn't get a single one. Problematic for him is that he doesn't have the Unholy Aura, so he doesn't get the speed bonus and can't work with it. And abandon the idea right away. Whereas we're seeing his opponent, tonbegali, still starting to creep, and he continues doing that. Level 3 for him. Double Circlet of Nobility. Fantastic for the critical strikes that we're now going to see from him. The coil from MadFrog, probably going to try and set a second one into play to take down that grunt. He needs some experience, and he needs it badly. He's not really looking too good when it comes to XP. There's the second coil, takes it down as expected in the main base now. Tech into... Ooh, wow, he's actually going straight into the fortress. Another big hit that we're seeing here from the Blade Master. And the Blade Master is reigning absolutely supreme. Beastery is being built now as well. And keep in mind that the advantage or the damage that you get through stat items actually gets figured into the critical hit damage calculation. Whereas if you find a clause of attack, for example, that damage is not calculated into the crit, but it's added onto it afterwards, so it's a little bit less. So at this point, the Blade Master is just wrecking that Death Knight. I mean, there's very little for MadFrog to do, to be honest. He is just not on the same level with his hero. He can't do anything about that. He can't even nuke that guy, and there's the town portal being forced just by that one hero. Has a Ring of Protection +2, has 2 Circlets of Ability, has the Boots of Speed, and time again, that Blade Master is just destroying. And he finds another circlet. Jesus! That kid is having a fantastic hero right now. I mean, early on in the game, obviously, and later you want to have some more high-level items too, but for the time being, this is pretty solid. Dreadlord and the Sacrificial Pit now for MadFrog, so with that we're not only going to see a Shade, that finally is going to make it a bit easier for him to deal with the Blade Master, but also the Dreadlord, and this is fantastic hero for MadFrog that he oftentimes uses. Blade Master in the main base again, and damn! Like, tonbegali is getting some insane damage out there. Not only the crits that he lands the entire time, but now he's cancelled structures as well. He, of course, went into a second hero too. And he's doing a great play here. He's actually harassing MadFrog as much as he can, while using his second hero to creep on the map. Black Citadel finally reached by MadFrog. Blade Master can't really enter the back of the base here. Was a good move, but we already have the sleep on the first grunt. And it looks like the Orc is actually thinking about fighting this. Tries to wake up the Grunt. That doesn't quite work out. The surround is there. And with that, we're now having at least one Grunt eliminated. So finally a bit of experience for MadFrog, who now looks at a level 2 Death Knight and a level 1 Dreadlord. But that Shadow Hunter is already starting to get a bit close. Ooh, getting even an Alchemist in here as the third hero. That's a lot of pressure on single heroes. I mean, the Blade Master is, of course, already insane when it comes to that, but if you have an Alchemist, he can pretty much do the exact same thing, depending on how exactly you skill him. But the Acid Bomb alone, I mean, that for itself is fantastic when you're going up against any kind of air units, when you're going up against ghouls as well. Anything that has, like, low HP and low armor is always a great target for those. Nice long distance and snare by the Raider, and another big hit. Bam, another critical comes out. And MadFrog might have a ton of money because he's staying in the no upkeep and is not really getting any big units out except for ghouls, but he's definitely struggling against his style at this point. I mean, there's very little for him to do. Sleep comes out once again, so there's no ensnare that can be used, but the massive pressure on the Death Knight over and over again. And thanks to those Boots of Speeds and the Windwalk and the crits, the Death Knight is already down to half HP. Now, MadFrog hasn't really used his resources yet. He's building a slaughterhouse now, and as you can tell, he's still at 800 gold and more. But looking over to his opponent with the tech into Fortress that we mentioned earlier, he is now in his main base. so far actually not built any additional tech structures. He's still just looking at upgrades, looking at the third hero, and playing around the radar. But he's definitely dominating the map right now, and he wants to have the Forest Troll Warlord here, and he's about to get it. Gets the experience, gets the item, and it's the Robe of the Magi. That's going to be fantastic for the Shadowhunter. Again, the Hex onto the DK, and he needs to be super careful. The pressure against the Alchemist too, but this is starting to get a lot more tricky. The Kodo already eating one of the ghouls, and now at least is around against the Grunt, so he gets that. But in comes the next Hex. The criticals are just stacking in. The Dreadlord in trouble. The Death Knight on the run gets at least the coil through, but things are looking grim for MadFrog in these fights. He gets damage in with the ghouls, but his heroes are going to be chased all over the place. And again, another big hit. A crit comes through. The DK barely survives. Gets blocked by the Kodo, and that's the final blow. Another kill. The sleep onto the Blade Master. He has no mana. He might actually fall. And yes, he goes down. Great job by MadFrog, but there's still two heroes against his Dreadlord. Dreadlord is on the run. Has he enough mana for a sleep? And the answer is no, he doesn't. There's not enough mana for a sleep, and there's the big hit coming in. Down he goes, two heroes eliminated, level 2 on the Shadowhunter, level 1 of the Alchemist, and it's ghouls only basically that MadFrog is running right now against the Headhunters that are starting to come in. Gets one surround, gets the second. That would have been a lot of experience for him, but he doesn't get anything out of it. Goes in again and plays without heroes. What is this, StarCraft? Medieval StarCraft what we're playing, and he actually kills the Alchemist too. He gets another surround in. He kills two Headhunters, two Grunts, and an Alchemist only with the ghouls, and he gets no experience whatsoever from it. Surrounds another one. The fuck is happening here? Oh my god, tonbegali is just sitting there. No. And another surround. He's losing everything. The Shadowhunter dies too, and MadFrog kills the entire remaining army with only his ghouls and doesn't get a single experience point for it. Okay. That's special. That's actually special. Not quite sure what I expected when I loaded the game up. I didn't expect that. So yeah, I mean, in hero levels, nothing has really changed. It's still a massive lead for the Orc player. But you look at the supply, and all of a sudden, the Orc is on 23 against 36. So MadFrog is ahead in supply by a significant number. I mean, a little bit comes down to the fact that he already has one of his heroes back. But now he has finally also some space on the map itself to start creeping. So it's a little bit insane here. Now, the one thing that I could definitely see MadFrog do with all the pressure against the heroes is on level 4 spec into the Death Pact. For now, I still expect the coil on level 2 to come in. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case. But Death Pact might be a good idea a little bit later in the game, considering how much pressure was on the Death Knight the entire time. And he's starting to come back in. Wind Riders are there. The attempt to... Oh, MadFrog stealing the experience away. Nice. Scourge Bone Chimes on the Blade Master. Oh my god. Like, you gotta be kidding me, right? That Blade Master is going to be an absolute monster. Fantastic aura for an Orc player. For any race that is heavily focusing on melee heroes and melee units, to be exact. But now MadFrog is starting to get some experience. And also he sees the Blade Master thanks to the Shade. And that might be the end of the Blade Master. Trying to run away here. Doesn't have a sleep. No, not using that just yet, but there comes the hit. Blade Master already starting to move away. MadFrog not even focusing on him, realizing that without enough mana on the Dreadlord for multiple sleeps, he won't be able to do anything here. But that Dreadlord now on level 2, and the third hero for MadFrog not in play yet. We're going to see if he maybe tries to get something in here and plays with the third one, or if he's just going to focus on the two that he has. Alchemist is back to business as well, and in terms of supply, we're looking at 39 supply against 47. So MadFrog actually with a pretty solid position here in the game. The main reason is really because he really has an advantage in supply. He can finally creep. The entire time when we were watching this game, the story was that the Blade Master was just absolutely harassing the hell out of MadFrog, killing the Death Knight multiple times, really going hard on the heroes, and this is something that he at this point just can't do. So for MadFrog, it's finally time to start and get some creep camps. That means he gets items, that means that he gets some gold, and you can really tell. I mean, he already bought an Orb of Corruption for his Dreadlord too, so we're having him with a Potion of Greater Healing, and this is actually a decent position for MadFrog to be in. 43 against 50 supply right now. Again, we're having the attack from the Orc player, who now rushes in right away with a Blade Master again, and is trying to get a couple of hits in, and actually does succeed in doing that. Orb of Lightning also for the Blade Master. Pretty good damage. Here comes the sleep, and that's the end of the chase, at least for now. But MadFrog still respecting that army, and for very good reason. I mean, we're looking at an Orc player that has a level 2 Shadow Hunter, 2.5. If he gets 3, that would be great. Nice, able to take down the Shade here too, so that was a big one. Dropping the Shade and eliminating that from the process. But it's really just starting to be pretty tricky with not only the chemical rage on the Alchemist. It has so much hero pressure with Blade Master, Chemical Rage Alchemist, the aura that we're seeing, the Vampiric aura through the Scourge Bone Chimes that he found a bit earlier. And we have immediately another creep, but MadFrog is already about to arrive here, and he actually aborts it. Moves away with a Scroll of Speed. That Khaldor was not affected by it though, and might be surrounded here. MadFrog still trying to force the fight. 47 supply against 57. MadFrog still ahead. And it seems like the Orc is actually looking for a fight. And he's gonna get it. He's going to get it. There's the first web, but that's level 4 for the Blade Master now. Has some mana, but actually not as much as I would have expected. The surround attempt immediately. The Blade Master getting the damage through, but he doesn't have any sustain outside of the Shadow Hunter. And guess what? That guy is already fast asleep here. Asleep on the wheel, asleep on the job, and not doing a lot here. But the Blade Master still able to move out. Blade Master escapes, can maybe go back in for last hit, but that's about it. And with the Death Knight being on level 4 now, very unlikely to happen. Moves in for the healing wave, but the surround is there. And the Shadow Hunter goes down. A Fiend eliminated as a countermeasure in the process. But now we're having tonbegali in a huge amount of trouble. He's just losing so much ground. Sleeps on the units in the backline. They're not doing anything. We're having at the same time also the Forest Troll Berserkers going down, and the heroes just don't have an impact there anymore. Whenever these fights happen, the Blade Master just doesn't have a lot of mana left anymore. And even with the criticals, he won't be able to do too much here. MadFrog has taken control of the game again through those insane surrounds earlier with ghouls only. 37 supply, 40 supply for MadFrog now against the 32 that we have for his opponent. The Blade Master on 4, still a menace. We're seeing the Alchemist at the shop active there, getting the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability and also Scroll of Healing, but MadFrog sniffs it out, and with the aura, he's now about to surround the... yeah, he gets even the sleep in. Makes it easy for himself, just as the skeletons actually get dispelled here. A statue goes down, both of the heroes are still alive, and the Blade Master, the sleep hits him, and the coil should take him down. Yep, doesn't even need the coil. Coil is getting hit onto the Alchemist instead, and here comes one sleep after another. We're actually seeing him take sleep on the second level as well for the Dreadlord, and now he can use it at a lot less mana costs and uses it perfectly to just stop the opponent's heroes from escaping here. What a game there once again. Absolutely sick. So at this point in time, potions completely used up, and all 3 heroes are dead. Well, the Blade Master isn't, but guess what? It looks like he might be in a few seconds again. Can't be moving in to surround him. But now we're having the barracks being attacked. The statues are coming in. MadFrog is sending more units across the map. Has actually a couple even sitting here in the middle that he didn't realize. And is now just absolutely destroying the infrastructure of the Orc towards the bottom left. What a twist in the game, seriously. I mean, it was such a great game for tonbegali from an item perspective, from how the early game panned out, outside of his shop being destroyed, and then just these insane surrounds from MadFrog that turned the game around. And it was mostly as all of the heroes were already dead, and I really feel that once the heroes were dead, the Orc player just simply thought, alright, I got this fight won, this is over, he's gonna retreat now. And MadFrog just was like, you know what? I'm just going to snipe everything you have now. And I really feel that at this point, the Orc was busy already macroing in his main base, didn't really watch the battle as much anymore as he probably should have, because he just assumed, well, the heroes are down, nothing's gonna happen, I'm fine. And yeah, you can't just think that way against MadFrog. He's just gonna start taking you down StarCraft style, without any heroes whatsoever. And now we have more creeping happening on the map that should lead to a Death Knight on level 5 in just a few seconds. Those ghouls with, of course, Ghoul Frenzy, with 2 attack upgrades, We have the Dreadlord on level 4 with the 2 potions of greater healing, passes one over to the Dread Knight. That's love, you know, that's real friendship there. The Dreadlord is looking at it as like, I have too many, you don't have any, so I'm gonna give you this one. It's a present for a friend. I appreciate the coils that you are rattling through here the entire time to keep me alive. And that's friendship. That's friendship right there. And that's why Undead is such an amazing race, because everybody on the other side, they are friends, they're good friends and colleagues. And this is always how you should act in the workplace, so it can be appreciated. Orb of Darkness on the Death Knight now, because the Dreadlord already has the Orb of Corruption, and you can only have one orb effect on a hero, so that's why he's passing that over. But now we're having the Dreadlord on 4.5, and, well, things are starting to look pretty grim for the Orc player. He's trying to get some more items, and he's successful in doing that, so creeping the spots, getting a parry up Vitality. Shadowhunter on 3 is a pretty big deal too. And he's getting his peons all over to the top left. I mean, his main base is nearly down, so gold mine is about to be depleted. That's true for both of them. The Dreadlord has hit level 5 now. And for MadFrog, that means that he can, if he wants, even spec into a level 3 sleep. And that's exactly what he does. And that means it only costs him 25 mana to get the sleep through. Well, actually, I might be lying. It might be 50. I'm not so sure anymore. I think it's 50 actually. Either way, it's insane, because he has a mana pool of 525 at this point in time. So he's going to get an insane amount of sleep through. And it should be 50. And with that, Rune Bracer is also in inventory, but he can basically sleep the entire army of his opponent. Sleep on a high level can be such a nuisance. Obviously, you can wake your own units up by hitting them, attacking them. But the problem is, if that sleep just keeps coming the entire time, you have other shit to do in a big fight. So it's a huge problem. And this is the last stand. If that expansion attempt fails, it's over for tonbegali. On the other hand, if it works, it might be over for MadFrog, because he doesn't have any mining going on either. There's the sleep. There's nobody even close to the Blade Master, so he's out for the count. Coils are rattling through, and that's a massive ghoul army, and they are just frenzying away. Scroll of Protection comes in too. Again, the Dreadlord with the opportunity for another sleep in the backline. That's exactly what we're seeing onto the Alchemist, and he gets his round in. Goes straight for that big coil coming in, and that's another hero kill secured. Shadowhunter down, Alchemist down. He goes for the remaining units, and this is just lights out for tonbegali. GG, well played, as the Orc leaves the field of battle, and MadFrog successful in the game on Twisted Meadow. Pretty sick back and forth here, but definitely insane when you look at these hero surrounds and unit surrounds that we saw in the mid game and how they changed the outcome of the game completely. GG and well played. MadFrog with a big victory here in the Undead vs Orc.